Okay, finally we're here. You can take.
Battery on your phone.
Yes. So it's a pleasure to be here with you, with the Arunachal and with the transmission of 25 Jinki of Unconditional Love. I hope this transmission will touch hearts of all of us. And again, I feel it's very beautiful to be in the place that holds the frequency of unconditional love, the frequency of heart. And this key is from 18th till 24th of March. And what is interesting and special about this key, as this key itself holds an energy of the core wound itself. So if we go through Jinki perspective, there are 6 core wounds of humanity that each of us has one of the wound. And it's repression, denial, shame, rejection, guilt, and I forget the last one, that is mine, separation.
Oh.
And in fact, the key of the 6th line, the wound of separation is the one that holds all the wounds within, kind of. And the soul wounds is a way of how we contract the light, the love within, and the way of this like contraction mechanism, because the shadow of the 25th Jinki would be contraction. And because we contracted the light and we contracted our true nature, and then there are 6 ways of how it represents itself. Either it's repression, and that means we repress ourselves, also we repress emotions, we repress the body, we repress the energy, we don't listen to ourselves, and of course then we try to repress everybody, or we always feel repressed kind of by the world. Either it's denying as a mechanism of immediately pulling away whatever don't go well with my mind, ideas and structures, and immediately kind of deny, and even not to see, and not to see how deep this wound can be as a way of ignorance. Then it's shame. Kind of, I even feel shame about, like I deny, then I feel shame about this pain, and I don't want it to be seen, so I need to hide it very, very, very deep inside. And then it's rejection, and I'm afraid to be rejected by others, but inside reject myself. Then it's a blame, and at the end it is a separation. So, and the 25 key is the key that kind of holds within or explains even this process of core wound itself and how they've been created. Sorry, 1 second. And why we even have them in the first place. And if we look into their perspective of these wounds, we will see that they've been created in the moment of conception. And they've been kind of transferred from the seed of Yan, the sperm, to the egg of In. And it's interesting because when I was preparing for the transmission today and listening, that they brought this perspective, because a couple of days ago I found some kind of scientist research in Instagram with some post about that the scientists, they figure out that the sperm, that's what transfers the trauma. So kind of a child would have first of all, traumas of the masculine line, like what the sperm carries. And then it goes into the egg, goes into the womb, and kind of then the life is creating way. And the core wound is creating. And that doesn't mean that you would have the same wound as like your father, for example, but this means that there are some patterns that come through this, and then we have some activation that the core wound, it's activated at the moment of conception, at the moment when we kind of started this process of separation from source, or illusion of separation, but still we experience this as separation from God, to experience their duality, their individual path. And then this core wound is what we carry, and then most of the time when we even feel and see the conception of wound, we might think, oh, I need to heal it, I need to do something with it, where we can see through this key of acceptance that there is nothing, in fact, you can do as just to accept it fully. Because when the acceptance is happening, then all the healing is happening itself, everything what is needed. And the 2025 gene key, it's wound of sorry, the shadow of contraction. And what does the shadow give to us? The shadow of contraction, the gift of acceptance, and the CD of unconditional love. And the program partner of this key is 46 gene key. And the 46 gene key is the key of love to body, love of being in a body, being in a form, experience the life through excitement and enjoyment, being in a form, being in this physical vessel. And the shadow of this key is seriousness. So whenever we have contraction, we also have seriousness. We might find that our lives became very serious, and we bring this, first of all, from our parents, because on the first 7-year cycles, this is where, in fact, our spiritual wound is forming, and our connection with the physical body, in the way how we perceive reality through the physical form. And do we feel happy being in a body? Do we trust the body? Or do we need to control everything with the mind? And we believe that life is very serious and we need to like survive and just only trust your mind. Or we feel very peaceful and easy in our body, and in the way how we can just trust the life and be in the expansion instead of contraction and seriousness. So while we work with this key, and while this key in the transitional field from 0 till 7, from 18 today till 24, we can experience the really deep child wounds that can come out, or something that can be even connected with the process of our birth, or the process of even conception. So some things that are very deeply rooted can appear now to surface. So we have a possibility to see them. I don't even always want to say heal, just to see them, to be with them, and to see how the more acceptance we bring, the more the energy moves and removes this contraction. And also, what I also can share a little more about the core wound, as how Richard Rudd, the creator of Gene Key, explained, is that it's going to be on YouTube, babe. Explain is that the core wound is a point of separation between our lower body and higher body. Like there are 3, let's say, lower body that is physical, emotional, and mental. And there are three higher bodies, that is causal body, the body of soul, Buddhi body, and Atman body. The highest form of emotional body, that is be represented as love, peace, and harmony, and the highest representation of mental body, that will be represented as stillness, silence, and like divine clarity, divine consciousness. And the core wound is this point between these three bodies, between this lowers and higher body, as the way of what separates them. So kind of what separates our, let's say, lower nature from higher nature. That doesn't mean that like the lower body are worse or they're like not that divine. This kind of classification is more a way to describe and to name, to see the differences. And eventually, the core wound basically is this enter point where the light of highest body is coming to our lowest body. That was basically happening with transmissions. And like the light is coming into our form, and it kind of transmuting the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the more kind of we accept and open in our core wound, the more we let this light to come. The more we contract as the shadow of 2025 Jinki, the harder for the light to come, because we either suppress it or deny, or we feel shame that we don't deserve it, and we also then kind of deny or try to not to feel it, or we reject because we believe again I'm not good enough to receive it, so I need to kind of close myself, and we blame and separate. So yeah, to see the contraction mechanism even through this week can be really good to do some breath work, because this key is a lot of connected with our breath and how we breathe, how deeply we breathe, how breath can enter the depths of our belly. And if the breath is not deep enough, that means that we have a lot of contraction things around our heart and our system that does not let the light to come in. And then we can see that all the suffering basically is a mechanism of protecting ourselves from this light in a way. Or we can say love or God. Like, repeat the lesson. The suffering is our mechanism, how we protect ourselves from this light of the love of the God. Let's say like this light is coming, and it's coming through the core wound. And when it's coming, it's can create some tension, some feeling, some expansion that might feel sometimes as a pain, or something happening outside that trigger you, that give you opportunity to feel deeper your pain, to expand. But for the mind, it immediately, like whenever we feel some uncomfortable feelings of pain for mind, it's immediately a reaction to like fight or protect or project and fight with somebody or something who we think caused this. And so then instead of being open to receive this light and let us expand and drop more layers of contraction, we close and through the pattern that we have in our core wound. Like, for example, I would say today I felt this key, in fact, in the morning. I felt a lot of the time before the transmission, I feel the frequency of the key, how it's coming, and give me opportunity to see it, especially it comes first from the shadow. And immediately, like my separation came out, and I wanted to separate, I felt the way how I wanted to separate, or my mind created stories of separation. And even and even sitting in meditation and observing how this is, because separation is micro wound. So I know that whenever I'm triggered, the first thing I want to do is separate. Kind of. And for example, Anthony, your way of suppression, suppress the emotion, suppress the feeling, or try to suppress or like repress the partner. Yes, so a person who feels shame who can be closed and or can be people pleaser also, for example, as the reverse. So so basically, when you feel something uncomfortable, there is always an opportunity to be with it and let this light come and expand us, or we close ourselves and we come into the trigger, and then basically we create the suffering as we not just stay open with the light to come and remove some kind of obstacles within us. We identify with the pain, with the sensations, the making stories, and well, then we kind of can contract even more ourselves and don't let the light enter. Yeah, so for now, I just want to ask maybe just a couple of your words and sentences of how do you feel this from just a little bit from what I shared already. Maybe you can find your core wound, maybe something you want to share or ask as we're starting now with this topic.
I think it's really.
Oh, sorry.
No, go, Brian.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go.
No, I really recognize this like response, and even just being in London and seeing how other people live and how living a life that we do, which is more off the grid or traveling nomadic, we all get to choose our hard, right? And I see from my sister's hard, she gets up and works for someone every day and is kind of controlled by someone. And she gets quite defensive when I say about the matrix world, and it does create separation, but it's not for me to judge her path in the sense that she chooses her hard and I choose my hard. And I think we all have to choose a life that's right for us, and that can create even separation just from having a different way of living and the other person feeling maybe judged for your path. And even though living as an entrepreneur and traveling the world and living, month to month, most people could not do that because it's very much in the unknown, and that's kind of my playground. But I feel that I can see the separation that's created when, just coming into like a different way of living, and you have a different way of living, a different belief system, a different, way you've been brought up, how just from me sharing my truth, my authentic truth, that can just create separation for people that are feeling maybe they feel judged for the way that they live because it's different. So I've just seen that even just last night recently, just around the separation, which of course is not what you want to create, but it can happen.
Thank you for sharing.
And I haven't really noticed it because I've been living with you kind of people that are living a similar life to me. So when I come back into living a different reality, it definitely, it is presented in my external world, how it can create separation when you choose to live a different life.
Yes.
Mm.
And I feel, thank you for sharing, the more we kind of in this process of like the global transformation, and from something what I heard that since last December, since December 21st maybe or something, there was some special portal where kind of everybody has to make a choice. Either you live, let's say, like in a matrix in a way, either you live from your mind or you live from your heart.
Yeah. Mm.
And kind of the life is there's going to be a huge separation between people, because it's kind of literally going to be like moved in different timelines eventually. And because it's absolutely different way of living, of connecting with energy, of maybe we personally would not see this like super huge distance. Maybe it will happen later, like next generations, or maybe even in our time, we don't know. But let's say that the distance kind of is really becoming huger, and it's kind of the time started to move faster, so these all processes will happen much faster. And this is also a lot of well, it's also it's a test for everybody, also a test for those who choose a different paths, sometimes to let go of those who choose, like, and even if there's somebody you love, but to see that, okay, this person choose this way, I can just come in fact to unconditional love, that is trusting, but I'm not going to pull anybody into, like, let's say, the way of her. Like, you can, Bri, you can promote your heart-to-heart program, but you're not like making people come. You're not like saying you have to do this, otherwise you die, or something like this. You promote, you let people choose. So
well, it's even, I've noticed I find it hard to even promote my program anymore, because when I was promoting my program many years, I was promoting it more from the mind. And since I've come more anchored into the heart frequency, I'm not resonating with people in the mind. So I'm even finding it challenging to promote and bring people to this world, even though, of course, like, the heart frequencies where everyone, I feel, should be, but that's just my personal preference. But I think if you're trying to, it's almost like you kind of need to meet them on the mind to bring them into the heart. And that's
yes,
what I could do before, but now I find it really hard to do, because I'm just not in that space as much, unless I type it into ChatGPT, but then it doesn't feel very authentic. And my whole business is about authenticity. So I've definitely been struggling with that, to be honest, to really resonate with people. Like, online, in person, it's very different, because people feel the frequency, but online, it's a different energy frequency that they like probably think, oh, I want to live like this, but it feels too far removed.
yeah, I understand. That's why I almost stopped doing a lot of things. Kind of.
It's really, I'm finding it really challenging. So it's like that's why I kind of need to be in England, because I don't need a visa to work here. And people really need the heart frequency here, and people feel it when you're in that frequency. It's like they're magnetized to it, because they obviously want to elevate deep down, but for sure it brings up fear. And I think the bridge online is just not, I'm not crossing that bridge online. It's just in person right now. So I'm just focusing on that. But I definitely feel separation, because I've put so much of my time and energy and money to marketing myself online. So that's also another ego death I've got to go through.
Thank you for sharing. If anybody else want to say something?
Thanks for listening.
It was interesting because last night, and I think it is related to separation, but I just had, also because of the cleansing yesterday, but just this incredible feeling of aloneness, being alone, which is basically the separation, no? And it's so interesting, like how this illusion of separation is so strong, and it comes from feeling separate from everything. Because just very recently I was feeling so deeply one with God. I just had this incredible realization. I've never been alone. Like, it's impossible to be alone, like, because you are in that oneness. But the moment that you drop down from that, then it's complete separation. And I just felt so much pain, the aloneness yesterday. I felt incredibly alone. So it was interesting how you said that already. This energy is already starting to emanate so strong. And yeah, this like frequency of going back to feeling oneness and to dissolve the illusion of separation. Yeah, it was just my experience yesterday. And I feel that this is pretty much a very wound in myself, and I think in most people.
Thank you for sharing.
So I'm very happy we're going into this energy and beyond this one today.
I think from seeing your chart last time, because I saw it, you have a rejection wound, core wound of rejection. That's also a feeling of alone and separation, this kind of things. and more specifically, like rejection feeling, feeling afraid of being rejected, and yeah, being alone and this kind of things. So I have ability today to be with it also and feel where is contraction. Yeah, just we can all feel today where is this contraction within us happening.
Can you remind me the 5, what are the wounds, the core wounds?
Repression, denial,
Repression,
shame,
shame,
rejection, blame, yes,
and separation.
separation.
And I have suppression.
So repression, the first one.
Repression. What? I thought it was suppression. Repress is to be suppressed.
Yes, it's
Do you remember which one I have, darling? I have my chart up, so I'm just curious.
It's in a vacation. It's in vacation period.
So it's based on the line.
Yes.
Okay. So
it's in vacation and it's the line.
I have, the number 1.
Yes.
That's repression. And does it work like at each second, third, fourth, fifth line has the previous qualities, or is it?
Yes.
Okay. So I have the least problems.
Well,
what?
kind of. I don't know.
Well, can I share?
Yes.
Since I have the wound of repression, I feel like to share.
No, you not share.
Identify with it.
So it's super interesting.
Don't let you to say.
Because it's super interesting what I was thinking. I'm fairly new to the world of shadows. I mean, at least in dealing with shadows, I've had shadows all my life. Of course, this is a core wound. But I just noticed how in Tiru and Arunachala, it shows me so much where is my weakness, where am I suffering the most. And I remember when I arrived here, immediately I understood. Remember, we had this conversation about being at the ashram and being suppressed like so badly. And I was really on edge. Like I said, I don't want to be here anymore and all this kind of stuff. And, even like, I won't say names, but, even like the facilitator just kind of said to everyone, like,
I don't remember
when I was in Kalaki recently,
okay,
like
yeah.
I was at the initiation,
yeah,
and then I mean, the ashram in any case is terribly, you don't get a voice, but for me to lose my voice, it felt like the most like painful thing, because I felt I had a lot of useful things to say, especially because I'm very experienced in this ashram, and I just felt like completely suppressed or whatever, repressed, and then I could see how it was like a big shadow of mine. And and I also feel how I'm new to it, but I feel it's almost like life, even almost in a kind of like not demonic, but in the evil way. It's like the life, your core wound is almost the antinomy of like your illumination. I feel how like my repression is like the person that's trying to stop me from being my full potential. And I think it's super good to bring awareness to it, and I'm glad you're doing this today. So
we love when you talk, Anthony. I love your sharings. You're amazing.
Thank you, Brian. I love you too.
Keep shining your light. Never stop.
You too.
I'm still in separation myself, honestly, from the morning. Like
Why?
I honestly just nothing. It's just like was I woke up and then I felt already it's like something happened in my dream. Like in my night dream, there was some man, I don't know, who like tried to kind of steal me or something like this.
Amana. Steal your
No.
Just what your boyfriend
take you down the Gilly Balam again.
I'm gonna take her, chain her to the mountain.
No, I don't know who it was, but the feeling, and it's in fact it's a lot of the time when I woke up. I know myself. That's why I need silence in the morning. When I woke up, I don't feel good because like a lot of things happening during the night to me. So I need kind of time to bring the light into myself, because I wake up with like, don't touch me, don't speak with me, like go away. Something like
Yes,
most of the time.
It's interesting you say that, because I've been sleeping with my sister, and the frequency energy I can feel. I normally feel so energized in the morning, and because her nervous system is in dysregulation, I can feel that my regulated nervous system is helping her regulate, and I feel more drained from it because she's in fight or flight. So I love you, darling, and I miss our tea mornings in Peru. I love it.
Yeah, and then so like then kind of started to share something. Then I felt how I like there was something that was triggered, that my mind kind of decided to give more attention, and then like things. Then even when I was in meditation, I felt that this separation was coming like stronger and stronger, and as I know this how my micro wound works. That's when I feel like something, when it's activated, that I immediately want to separate. Maybe not immediately. It needs a bit time to kind of boil. And if I don't stay in the presence with just kind of bringing light into it, but I believe, let's say, the stories that's coming with it, or its mind is bringing, then I can go into separation, even from a point of like, yeah, I love you, I choose you forever, it's like, and planning the life and everything, to like in maybe 30 minutes to a point of no, we need to break up. And
Oh, Anthony.
Maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, which then creates a feeling of his rejection wound.
I mean,
he breathes out right now.
no, for me, if I respond to that, what's the most triggering, if I think about, is when what I try immediately do is I find the solution. I try and find the answer, and there's no answer.
No, in fact, there was answer. Something, in fact, then later when we spoke, and then he was able to kind of see some deeper contracts that I have, kind of, that realize that I need to clarify some of the contracts, some of connection with gods and goddesses that implemented me in a negative way, kind of. Yeah, but then some next thing come, and then like my mind is just like I see it, but at the same time I see how it's happening, how my mind wants to separate, and sometimes this thing is so strong that it's like I want to separate, like no matter what the cost is it. And this separation thing was strong with me since I was a kid. Like, for example, when I was really small, like super, like 7 years old or something, when I was kind of with some boy from a school, when we were like, like kids, you're talking, you're spending time together, you're creating friendship. But when he wanted me to be his girlfriend, something like this, and we were in the same class, and he wanted to stay, kind of, he invited me to walk after the class. And then everybody kind of knew about that. And I felt like, oh, it's like this becomes serious. And then I was physically running away from him, even if I really liked him and I wanted to be his like girlfriend at the time. But this separation would get activated so much that I was physically running away from him. And he was on his bicycle, but I was running very fast, faster than he's on his bicycle.
I can so imagine that. So you have a tendency to have more avoidant patterns.
Yeah, absolutely. I told him today I'm running bright. I said I ran 2 times from marriage, so like good luck with trying third. Yeah, but I know I have more things to do, because in fact I did some healing on this thing where for me the marriage and family was connected with like absolute repression, losing myself, where was it past lives where I was absolutely suppressed as a woman and as a Muslim woman, and kind of even in one lifetime even killed myself. So like had pretty bad like things in subconsciousness about marriage and all these kind of things. Yeah. This is my
Thanks for sharing, darling.
story. That's clearing. And yeah, that's what this shadow of contraction will bring for us now this week. All these things that we need to clear. So we let the light and ground in our system, and we let this life to come. And in fact, also what's happening and what I observed also today, when this light is coming, it's triggering. As it's coming, just imagine it's coming through the core wound. So core wound is kind of a portal that can open or close. And when it's coming through this portal, it's triggering the response of this core wound. So in my personal experience with separation, let's say it's like this. Whenever there is possibility to expand more in love, consciousness, God, unconditional love, whenever the more light is coming into my system, the first instinctive reaction in my way would be separation. Like in Maria's way, it would be rejection. In Anthony's way, it would be repression. In your way, I don't know which you have, I don't remember, you can check, it will be in your vocation. The one that is blue and red at the same time, 2 colors. And then we have a choice, basically. We can believe in this mechanism of the wound. So I can separate, you can repress, you can reject or feel rejected or choose to feel rejected, believe in that you feel rejected. Or I can believe in separation, separate and cut the things, how as a Kali I love to do. First cut, then think about what I cut. And we have a choice to, okay, can I just be with it and just breathe and stay with it? And there were a lot of moments when there's also some, let's say, wounds that were happening, but by choosing to stay in love and share something from vulnerability instead of projection and pain, and that's helped to create deep intimacy and expand into love, and let the love move out some blocks and some contraction. So we always have a choice how we would perceive these things, but we need to be attentive and careful with the way how our mind reacts when, especially then we can see, if we want to know deeper understanding, we can see the line that will be the wound and our personal key and how it connects.
Can you repeat that? I didn't understand.
So in this core wound, we have a line and a key. The core wound, these six words I told, they're determined by a line. But there is also your personal key. Like, for example, in my way, it's inertia. So when I feel separation, my mind tried to brought me into inertia, into old patterns.
Where do you find this key? It will be the same in the vocation?
Vocation, yeah.
51.
So the shadow of this key.
Oh, man.
And you have to look at that shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand. The shadow then is how the wound is triggered. Yeah,
the shadow of the key with the line. So you have intellect, yes?
Yes.
So what you will do, you will
My mind.
You will feel repression. Or let's say whenever you feel repression, or you feel that something suppress you, repress you, then you would come into intellect. So using your logic, using your mind to protect yourself, or using your mind to attack somebody.
In my case, I have corruption.
Corruption is It's not like you pay money to people.
Yeah.
Corruption is a way of, it's like, I don't even believe that like the healing is possible or what I dream is possible. So I don't even start the work or I give up on myself. Corruption
It's
is
like self-sabotage, no? I feel it more like self-sabotage.
yeah, it's even deeper. It's more like something in you absolutely don't believe there is a possibility like to heal or to change something. It's like kind of
You don't even want to start.
it's kind of it's done that I don't even bother to try something like this. It's like a feeling of absolutely not belief in a positive outcome what you want to do. Like for example, like the relationship, like man, I was even it's like I don't even try, it's like it's not possible. And it's like how this the virus, this wound, it's like corrupted your system fully, like you became poisoned with this. It's taking over you. Like, yeah.
What's yours, Brian?
My shadow.
Yeah, the key or shadow. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I have many, but
No, the one invocation.
The invocation key.
I've just got my chart up. Where do I see this in my chart?
Vacation.
The blue and red sphere. It's half blue, half red.
Senarchy, teamwork, interference.
Oh,
Okay.
damn.
And which line?
After the death.
44.3.
So the line of shame, the core wound of shame.
Where is that?
The third line is shame.
1 second. Can I just show you? Because I'm a bit confused.
After the decimal, so there's 3 numbers. The key is 2 numbers, and then the
Yeah,
third.
she said 44.3.
Yeah, but she doesn't know after the decimal point is the line, which is the core wound.
Can
I just send you a photo of my thing?
Can you send to Anthony's so
Yes,
I can see from his
sorry,
phone?
I'm still not used to learning how to do it yet. I haven't really looked. I'll send it to Anthony and you can help maybe.
I don't think she can make a picture of the screen.
You can just screen that.
It's not working because of the page.
Oh, it's
I just
working.
sent it to you, Anthony.
Yeah. I
Maybe
received.
Privacy issues of the website.
You can send it to your email. Yeah. Okay. Wow, you have 2 Synarchy keys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 40.
I think I'm
it's-
here to help people release shame. I think that's my main.
Yeah,
gift.
it's a third line of shame, yes, and
Such a beautiful poem. I want to cry.
Honestly, my whole life work, the last year I've been doing, well, a couple of years, I was doing deep work with Shelley, my somatic healer, and my work is now basically helping people release trauma from the body. And like yesterday, I had a friend of my sister's come, and I immediately found his shadow like that. And he's been working with therapists for years. And I literally said to him straight away with permission, like, this is your shadow, basically. And he was like, how the hell do you see that? Like that is, and I literally see people's shadows. Like I can literally tell people what people's shadows are very quickly.
yeah, and the line is interference. So when your mind is interfere your heart desires and don't believe in a teamwork or create turbulence in your relationship, like
Lucky one.
instead of staying open and
Lucky that one.
being connected with your path and your dharma, your mind kind of and shadows interfering, and this create disharmony that you're not able to be in a team and a teamwork in a relationship. You close and prefer to do things yourself instead of being in a
team. It's so right. It's so right. Yeah, I think that's why head to heart, like, yeah, it's true. It's really true. I think there's a part of my ego that wants the greed element of like I want to do it all for myself. But actually, in fact, my greatest gift in life is community, bringing people together and all helping at each other elevate. That's like really what I'm here to do. But like with my retreats and with community work, I love it. But yeah, there's definitely my ego part of me that's like, no, I need to do it by myself and take the fame.
So coming a bit to the 25, thank you everybody for sharing. Like we all have the way how the core wound is playing out in our life. So the more we're mindful about this, the more, let's say, we can choose expansion instead of contraction, choose the light, calm, and purify something instead of believing in the drama stories it's telling. And or at least while even when we feel these drama stories, we can at least be aware. So, okay, I feel it right now. It's really affected me I'll just give it time kind of to pass, to process it. And I will not make any decisions until like this, I like process the energy or until like it will pass. Because whenever I think or whenever I, like for example, I know that when I'm in shadow, like I can't even ask my higher self or something because I know this like the connection is diluted and I will not kind of trust even the own decisions because I know that the shadow is kind of poisoning and whatever I perceive is not real. So instead of what I can do, I can observe all the thoughts and stories and ideas that come in and see them as a process of my mind to protect myself, something like this. And yeah, and the more we can literally stay in the stillness and clarity, the more we can code ourselves. And that's why I love Jinkies, in fact, why I work with them through years, because it gives the opportunity to also bring more consciousness to start being aware of your own shadows and how they work and to cultivate the ability to contemplate. This contemplation is the mechanism that Richard Rudd is bringing. Is you have to contemplate, just be with it, so the energy can transmute itself. And the contemplation sometimes can be not easy because we just so attached to these feelings or stories or something. For us, it can be such a deep identification, like something that Anthony kind of picked up today about myself when I was kind of channeling or something. That was so deep that I felt that, and I felt resonance in my body about this. I started to feel pain in my womb. I started to feel like the energy, and I realized that I need to go to like that. I can't right now remove this contract. It needs to be happen in a certain place, something like this, because it needs support of some energy to do this, as it's very deeply rooted. And I also saw that this but I don't even know how to let it go, because it seems like if I let it go, there would be no me, kind of, or like what it's like. This is such a deep identification with it, like that. It's such like a deep kind of
core.
Yeah, like a core of ego or something like this. And it's interesting how we said today when we had this little like conflict today, said, I like what you bring in like the boss, you know, like in the games, there is always like a final test, like the boss.
Yeah.
Like you bring in the boss to test me. It's like kind of this thing is what I feel in the core of my ego, something like this. And to let it go, I have even zero idea how it's possible. Definitely just by the grace, because definitely not my kind of myself I can do. But this key is to this week, it will bring to us all these like deeper stories and attachments we have. The ways how we contract the light, how we contract true nature, how we contract divinity, how we close ourselves. And that's why I said the breath techniques can be really helpful, as it helps to remove also the energy. And also there are two ways of the shadow. One is ignorance. The second one is cold. And what? Cold. Cold.
Cold.
Cold.
Cult,
Cold.
Yeah,
like
because
what we're in.
Like being cold, being closed, being.
I thought you said cult, like spiritual cult.
Yeah.
I love our spiritual.
So the ignorance would be absolute denying of your own pain, and even don't know how deep you suffer from this, like from this core wound. It would be just numbness, kind of, that I even don't know what's going on within me. And the people who are in the ignorance, there's no possible to create deep, intimate connections with them. Because they deeply rooted, they deeply buried the pain. They don't have also pleasure from life.
Crazy.
And so all that they can do is just stay on a very emotional surface. And in fact, now it's you understand even why it's connect with metrics, because then when you don't have deep connection with life and of pleasure of being alive and being in a body, as the program partner is 46 Jinki, then what the person can try to do is to earn as much money as you can to try to buy happiness. Realizing then that it's not working, because nothing can buy you happiness if you deny your soul and you live in ignorance. No matter how much money you have, no matter how successful you are, no matter how much houses you have, cars, partners, whatever. And the shadow of the ski, in fact, is interesting, is also the contraction, is also really represented of somebody just bringing all the focus into material life, like denying a God, being ignorant to God itself so much that also denying and kind of try to make jokes of others who go in the spiritual path, like kind of, oh, it's like you kind of stupid person, what even you do, and it's like it's your bullshit. The God, like what you're trying to do with, like, you know how.
What is that one? What is that?
Contraction.
Oh,
Shadow. It's a way of how shadow represented, because somebody contracted the light so much that then it tried to contract it in everybody else. And whenever somebody is sharing the light, that people can't stand and will do anything possible to manipulate, to contract, and to dim somebody's light. Not absolutely unaware, not as consciously, but
like repression, the shadow of repression bit.
Yeah, kind of.
Like initiating the shadow.
And then what's happening is that, can you bring me tea, please? I think this one is fine. And then what's happening is that the person just try to, just stay on a very emotional level and try to always satisfy the emotional body, like a fast food, like a fast dopamine.
Like a what?
Fast dopamine. Like sweets, like fast sex, like with stranger, without love and without intimacy, just like alcohol, whatever, like fast dopamine. So it will, one second, we'll finish. So it will give emotional kind of pleasure to buy more things, to buy more clothes, to buy whatever you think is giving you happiness. Finally realizing that, in fact, this is not working. And this is what we said as a matrix, is this is how it built, how why we feel people who connected with heart normally feel so kind of bad in a places where like very like what we say matrix, because just the field itself is built on contraction, disconnect you from your body, from your feelings, make you be, is what you say, the hamster wheel, try to just satisfy the emotional body and mental body without deeper connecting to yourself. And realizing then that then what happens, that you kind of retire, you have money, but they not they also can buy happiness and or get diseases because as a result of constantly suppressing yourself, because you needed to have work, and then you spend all this money on like your kind of healing. That's why people these days have so much cancer and all these things, because it's just a result of constantly suppressing, repressing, denying self. So unfortunately, this is society we live, and yeah, that's why I said it's always a kind of a choice which direction we go, and because there is no like how to say, there is no middle, in a way that if you are in a shadow, that's people can live for sometimes all their life in the shadows. I had sometimes a client like 40, 50 when they come to my Jinki for like long-term work, when we deeply discover all the shadows. And sometimes what can be really like heartbreaking in a way, a person goes through ego deaths because realizing, oh my God, I lived all my life from this shadow. All my 40, 50 years I spent living from this shadow. So this itself is already activating in this process for a person. And then the transformation starts to happen. That can be very painful to see. That's why the ignorance, the shadow of the repression nature of the contraction is ignorance. It's like I even don't want to know. I completely denied everything and I'm absolutely ignorant. So I even don't want to know what's going on. Just even don't try to tell me something like this. Okay, so what did you want to ask, Jose?
Yeah, it was just to clarify a little bit because also I don't know so much about this, but when we're talking today about the shadow of like the core wound of this 25, let's see if I can rephrase it. For each one individually, when we have our core wound, that moment we will feel it deeper. For example, this week you will feel it deeper because your core wound is related to 25,
Yes.
and I would personally feel it more when.
No. Why I'm bringing, thank you for question. Why I'm bringing now the topic of core wounds, because the 25 key itself is what describes the process of core wounds, as the core wound is kind of made and the point of conception is the way of separation from God and inherit this way of how you will always protect from a pain and contract yourself, kind of. So the 25 key itself is a vessel kind of to transmute your core wound. That's why I'm even bringing the topic of core wounds.
So then today we will, like, for this next couple of like days,
Till
weeks,
24.
we will all feel our personal core wound.
Yeah, you will
It
feel
will be deeper for you because your core wound is also related to 25.
No, it's not related to 25. No. My core wound is 9.6. Your core wound is whatever you have. Just saying that the shadow of contraction itself will be also will speak from the mechanism of your core wound. Like, for example, I feel contraction also as a way of separation because my core wound is separation.
So these days I might feel contraction because of rejection.
Yes, as a way it will be played out for you as rejection.
Okay.
So whenever you feel contraction, that you physically might feel like something contract you, some limitations, like you're not fully yourself, and you would feel it also through kind of the mechanism of rejection.
And can these also energies like they also influence like a week before and a week after, or
yeah, kind of they still like as they together move like together in a way, so you might feel them deeper. Yeah.
Okay, now it's more clear. I had not understand this.
Yeah, it's good that you asking. Yeah, it's like the way how we feel contraction will be personal, depends on our core wounds, something like this.
And also you said that the shadow, there's two ways. One is ignorance and
ignorance,
the other one?
Cold.
And what does that mean?
Cold means being cold and kind of wearing a mask and in a way that can't be with your own pain. It's like if ignorance is absolutely ignorant to its own suffering and to what's happening inside, the person who, let's say, cold, in fact, this person would, as a reaction, would become very angry and projected pain outside, projected on others, and try to also blame. And if the ignorant is don't feel, kind of.
Yeah.
The second type is can't stand with his own feelings. That's why I need to put it outside into others. He just can't hold himself, can't hold the field of presence, and need to put these energies into somebody else because he just can't be with them like himself or herself. Yes. And So, and also we can switch from one shadow to another. So at some point you might feel there is ignorance about certain topics or about certain feelings. And in another way, it's more like corrective nature when you just try to project it onto the world. And the second way, the cold, is also would be represented as the person who can go into like violence, abusement, and like this type of people, they can't stay in any relationship or is very, very short because they just can't deal with their own pain. So they always need to aggressively put it into others, something like this. Yeah, so this would be two ways of this shadow. And the gift is acceptance, the beautiful frequency and the beautiful way of just being in fact humble, because when we come to the gift of acceptance, we're realizing that the only way to heal this, the wound we have, is to be relaxed with it, is to accept it. And then in fact, even stop trying to heal. That doesn't mean become ignorant, because sometimes the ignorance is pretended to be acceptance that is not. Because in acceptance, you feel everything, you feel what's going on, but you don't react and you don't try to like do something. You might say, okay, this is just feelings I have right now and they're happening, but like, they're not real. I don't believe kind of in these old stories that my mind is telling. When in ignorance, we don't feel. And when we say, oh, I'm just such an acceptance, I'm just such in love, when in fact it's just deep numbness that's happened in somebody's system. And in acceptance, it's this softening and surrender, I would say. Yeah. And it's even coming to a point of a bit of helplessness, in a way that I've tried so much that I found I absolutely helpless to heal this core wound, kind of. And in this point of surrender, then we might see that something deeper is happening and softening ourselves and giving us a possibility to see this core wound kind of as a blessing. Something is to see that it's not a curse, it's a door how life or light enters us, enters our system.
And the light coming into the system would be to expand and to go into the gift and the seeding of that wound.
Just in general, to expand, to help you more realize for yourself, to for you to more and more become your true self. I think I have 1 sec. This rose is very close to the heart.
Should be something I like sharing in the last retreat. When I was feeling a lot like the wounds coming up, it was very supportive, something that the teacher shared, to just name it as a story. So, or somehow it just happened naturally that I would, in this place of softness, when seeing something arise, just to like physically say it in my mind, like it's a story. And that brought softness, like without trying to just like avoid it by saying it's a story and then like, okay, it's a story, then I don't have to do anything about it. But just naming it a story would bring a softer awareness. For me personally, it's super.
Thank you for sharing. I feel it's I would say it helpful sometimes, for me definitely, until the story is really strong. Like I would say the more acceptance we have in life, the easier it's to see the story as a story. And sometimes to even see how the deepest attachment to the story can be. And then the mind tries to do anything but to hold in it and to believe in it, kind of. Because when some stories is, it's like in the core of our ego, let's say, then the ego will protect as much as it can to hold them as it's a feel of, well, if I drop this, then like kind of nothing left. What's then left? And but in general, this key is asking us to the first moment when we feel trigger to connect with breath and make breath deeper, ground deeper in the belly, expand our breathing. And it's also saying the more and more we come into acceptance, then more and more there are layers around our heart that are softening, and kind of our heart starts to breathe deeper. Even the pattern of our breathing can change, the way how we connect with our body, the way how we connect with life. And acceptance is a key that literally brings in this acceptance of everything and anything. I know one person, like one of my exes, who has this key, and in his I think son or something, and he was 50 something, though he was very like the person who had a light. So, and whenever I remember being with him, it's like being in the field of love, kind of that. He accepts everything, and like the most patient person I've ever met. Like whatever happening is fine. Whatever happening is love. Whatever happening is God. There was kind of almost not possible to trigger him. We never had any conflicts anymore. We never had any fights. It was not possible to fight. Like when somebody is embodied so much love and acceptance, that comes as also patience and not trying to change anything, but just to accept everything as it is. Okay, it is this way. Okay. Oh, I lost money. This like some business and work. Okay. All this happened. Okay. Kind of. And everything okay, no matter what.
Shiva.
Everything is just. Everything is just. Unfolding. Yeah, everything is love. Everything the way of love is happening. And yeah, and just by it was the time where I needed to be with the person who formed this frequency, so I could also tap more and more into this and find this more with myself. But finally, I started to see the stories that my mind was bringing, and I was saying, like, no, I don't believe you. Kind of to myself as a story, I don't believe in this. I'm deepening into love and say this all the ideas. I'm not choose them. I see them, I kind of feel them, but I don't believe in them. Something like this. And this is what the gift of acceptance can give us to come to a point where you don't need to fight with anything. And I already did that. When you don't need to fight with anything, when you just in such a surrender that whatever happens is God, is love, and it's meant to be like this. And this attitude itself is then transmuting things without even you actively doing something, and helps to bring the right alignment. Because in the contraction, we try to fight. And what's also the way of the shadow is that we always believe that there is a reason why I feel this contraction, and why there is something or somebody outside who make me feel like this. Like we believe that there are limitations and there are some reasons out in outside world for me to feel this. Not knowing that it's all the process of kind of unfolding this core wound and just letting us more and more deeper ground into acceptance and finally come to the seed of unconditional love. So I would say if we can even choose this perspective that everything is unfolding for me to embody more love and to not because of anything anybody else, just because we know it's all about us. It's all the way of helping me to embody more this unconditional love and to kind of transmute or see my core wound as the sacred ground. That's what happens on the high frequency, that this wound becomes like a sacred ground in a way. You know all the sacred ground, yeah? What is it?
Grail,
Yes.
like the cup that
Yes.
holds, like the immortal life.
Immortality. Yeah. Mhm. Okay, if anybody wants to share something, I feel it's time for another share circle.
Did we cover the key of accept the gift of all time?
Almost.
I was like,
You missed everything.
I was away, so I don't know what is acceptance. Okay.
Definitely for me, and like mm, also seeing with other things, my level of acceptance of people is quite good, quite high, but my level of acceptance of myself is very low. So it's beautiful that we're talking about this and seeing which aspect each individual of us has to work, like in our ways to find this acceptance. So it brings more clarity, or it brings more easiness